What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. The community erupted last night over Duel Overload being announced to have Needlefiber, or whatever we're calling him now, along with other Link Brains Pack 3 imports that are very huge, and Cynet mining having a reprint, which we'll talk about all this later with the buyouts that erupted and crazy things. But at large, the community also missed something because of this crazy big news. So in stream last night, I was linked to this Speed Duel's Trial of the Kingdom, and I was getting pretty mad because they were like, there's reprints from Legendary Duelist in the set, John. And I see Cocoon of Ultra Evolution here bolded. And it says, based on the powerful spell card from the Legendary Duel. So, we know that's a freaking duel skill, because in the past, people ran up to me time and time again. John, did you hear Double Evolution Pill's getting a reprint? Did you hear? And it's very important for me to have information right on Market Watch, right? So each time I have to tell them no. And then I even put Double Evolution Pill up as a suggested card to go buy, and people are like, it's getting a reprint, John, stop. Well, nice reprint here, and I figured the same thing was happening here. So I was like, if you're wrong, I'm kicking you from chat. I'm so mad, I'm having flashbacks. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. And he links me the official card database update for the set, and it has freaking the Legendary Fisherman 2 and Parasite Paranoid. Now, the prices for these don't ring alarm bells at all, do they? They're very cheap. But what's important is, this is an original printing to only the original Legendary Duelist, and then we also have Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium being the original printing for this. This means it's open reprint season on Legendary Duelist, and this is awesome. Now we're looking at cards with prices like this. Look at that. Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium. Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium. That means cards like this, Ancient Gear Fusion, can end up in sets like this where we could have the Link import of the Ancient Gear Link and actually have this end up in it without it being a crazy string theory anymore. And even leading more into this, at the very end statement of this set for its press release, Duel Overload has something for duelists of every experience level and fans of every Yu-Gi-Oh series, as well as cool surprises that we can't quite reveal yet. So if you remember Legendary Collection Kaiba, which is also a March 100 card reprint set with imports, guess what they do? Well, they hold Ash Blossom till towards the end, along with other big cards that are big name reprints. I think that's what's going to happen here again, and it is open reprint season on at least the older Legendary Duels. I don't think that we're going to see like Malicious Bane, I'm sorry, and a Dusted Gold reprinted anytime soon. These sets are made to last a long time on shelves, to be chased after by casual players, so Konami is going to be very aware of what these sets are made for, but it's still really great news to hear that the older cards are being looked at, and Konami's definitely aware of the price point and what's happened with this, and we're going to see some things moved on. And now, talking about Duel Overload and this huge press release, you can bet Needlefiber was the star of the show on the secondary market, which is now Hacklery for Brax. However we're going to say it. But Cynet mining being reprinted in here was also a very huge announcement. This card went immediately down $10 overnight, and people are asking me, John, should I sell this? Should I get rid of them? Should I keep them for the upcoming sets? Do you think it'll be short printed? It's the initial announcement within the set, and it could be shorted, but even then, we're looking at a product that per case is half of a core set's value. So we're looking at spending $360 on a full case of the upcoming Duel Overload versus, you know, a regular $720 on a core set. So I think that when vendors bust this open, even when things are shorted, you're going to see a huge increase in quantities and people chasing after it. Now, they will be ultra rare. This is secret rare. It comes down to your taste. But I would still be selling at this price point personally. At $30, I would gladly let go of mine if I had any, as long as I'm not stuck playing Salamangreat. If that's your core deck, you're kind of stuck, aren't you? You need Cynet mining if you're playing Salad Boys, but if you're not and you have these in your trade binders, you're stuck with them, you're looking at a 25% loss. I get it. You have a couple of months until the reprint, and you're like, maybe it'll spike back up like other cards have in the past, where it's a dip on the announcement, and then people need to play them throughout the season. We have Orcust. We have Thunder Dragons. This is one of the most diverse formats. People aren't going to buy this up just to continue playing Salamangreats, and most people who already wanted it had it. If you have it in your trade binder, let it go. Even if it goes up a little, sales rates probably aren't that great on it. I would definitely be looking for $30 on these, and I think they'll continue to dip. Glow Up Bulb, definitely the ultimate rare, the biggest show from all of the Needlefiber stuff. This is banned in the OCG, I believe, so that's why a lot of people are after it, and Ultimate Rares also are for plant format, so people are like, finally, when this was announced last night, okay, I need to get mine for plant format right now. I think that Needlefiber, I don't think it'll be banned off the rip or on the January list in preparation, but Konami did move forward on banning a lot of stuff like Dandelion before we ever got this long time ago. So these prices are pretty insane. I've seen canceled orders already in Zodiac of Ultimate Global with people trying to make more. It freaking sucks, man, when you see, like, people cancel orders on hype. Like, just take the loss. You had it listed. You knew what could have happened when you had it listed. But when I look at Bulb here, I don't think it's worth this price point at all, and I do think you'll see it settle back down. As the people who really win on this aren't the people who were selling it before, but they're the people who can list first and get re-volleys of hype and actually try to make a sale. So I do expect this to fall back out. Blackwing Steam the Cloak, another very famous Needlefiber S card, $5 now for super rares out of Dragons of Legend. Never got a reprint. Dragons of Legend is a very costly set sealed. We've seen cards like Carbonet and this rise through the ranks of prices as hype happens for them. I think this is actually a decent price point for it, but considering this is day one hype, it'll probably simmer a bit. And if it's not hit towards Needlefiber's release, you can bet towards the set actually coming out, it's going to skyrocket again. So kind of hedge your bets on what you think will end up on an FNL list, either preemptively or very soon after. Because if we have a January list, we very well will have a March or April list, most likely headed towards the WCQ. So they will hit stuff maybe very fast after we get our Duel overload. TG Wonder Magician Ultimate Rares had a baby bump spike, $18 for the unlimited ultis. First editions basically all disappearing. Yeah, $40 for lowest. It's just, again, going with it. Remember, we do have a very budget printing of this in Battles of Legend that I think is still around $1. Let's double check my math on this, as it is the market and it moves very fast some days. Yeah, you have a Battles of Legend ultra rare here, basically bulk. So don't freak out too much over having the ultis or originals, guys. Naturia Rose Whip, huh? This is the answer to Sky Strikers. They can only play one spell or trap card per turn. We see this actually towards its older hype prices when people figured it out with Needlefiber. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You can still try to make some kind of Naturia Beast combo as it's a level 3 Earth Tuner. I just don't buy into this one. It's cool. I've seen cool things with it. I bought into initial hype when I first saw its combos, but relax. Chill out. Don't really go after this unless you're really intent on Naturia Beast and think that, you know, Orcus, that's 50% of the meta. You think Sky Striker's coming back in hot? Well, maybe we'll get the Sky Striker link at some point. Now let's get to a couple of suggestions. Desert Locust is a common I would be holding onto out of Chaos Impact. It's a TCG exclusive, meaning we haven't had any looks at the OCG abusing this with Needlefiber. Definitely, I would pull these out of bulk and have them set aside. Could easily be $1 to $3 common down the road. The Strudo Super Rares, I think, will be spiking back towards 8 to 10, and it's really close to the rare versions. Remember, we haven't had a reprint of this since the Super, so I would be considering holding on to mine or definitely going out and getting some. One of the best tuners in the game. Yazi, I'm surprised didn't spike overnight. This is actually being played in the current metagame. Melds really well, goes into Mare combos. I would definitely have Yazi and Mare access if you were thinking about Synchro decks. Now, something else to note with all this hype is we're in a format with Needlefiber that doesn't have Summon Sorceress, doesn't have Firewall. It will be impactful, I think, no matter what. It's an insane card, but think of it sold and how it fell off after it lost those cards. It's not going to be the crazy thing that you once thought. So going after cards just because you're hype into it, just because you're like, oh boy, Needlefiber's going to take over, chill out a little. There's other options. The meta has evolved. But if you're planning on playing Needlefiber, you need to make decisions sooner than later, which is why I'm showing some of these cards at their market price. That's why I would be considering certain things sooner than later. Shooting Riser Dragons Ultra Rare did go up a little bit. I think it will disappear off market for its jump promo because jump promos are very hard to get and go towards a higher price. Super Rares are very and readily available if you want a budget option. It's just for people wanting to hollow out their deck. You've seen that many of the more hollowed out versions have spiked, so this is creeping. It's something I'd consider. Stardust Charge Warrior only has its one printing period. It's a really good synchro. It's not necessarily in a lot of the combos or Needlefiber decks, but if you're going synchro routes, it's a card I would consider having. And Dinglong is on the FNL list. Anytime we talk FNL, ban list, it's speculation purely, but the OCG has this ripped off their list. You can bet your bottom dollar if it rips off our list, this will disappear completely from the market. So I would have your copy sooner than later. If you are hinging on Needlefiber, maybe them ripping this off the list in order to hype the set and sell the set. Konami's famously done that a lot before, and if you want to be a Synchro duelist, these are things to look at. But do keep in mind, among all this hype, among all the news, among the finalies, it's not what it once was. It's not the degeneracy that it once was. It is still an insane card. It should be very, very revered, but it's not anything near the level of what we expect from the past. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think of today's market watch? And, you know, basically having to fall out around 2 subjects here. It's pretty crazy how much it actually caused to happen. But what do you guys also think about the legendary duelists getting reprints here and a speed duel set? Do you think that does mean we're going to see others elsewhere? I certainly think it does. I think it's open reprint season on the older ones, but the newer ones, I do think it's going to take a while. Konami's going to want to continue to sell these sets the way they've been selling, which is maybe why they started with the cheapest pieces of it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoyed the video in general. Do take a look at my Patreon. I know a lot of people are freaking out about comp, but me, not so much. My audience is 100% above the age of 13 and 98% above the age of 18. So I would hope I'm not too worried, but my thumbnails are technically cartoons in the government eyes, even though they're card art, and my chibi, I guess, could appeal towards kids. So it's definitely something to consider, supporting your favorite creators in general. That's why I do shout out things like my TCG player link in the description down below. If you're buying cards, it sincerely helps me, and if in the future I need to cut off ad revenue, I have other venues to make money while still doing what I love, Yu-Gi-Oh! News, and bringing it to you guys. Thanks for watching and supporting, everybody.